Janelle Williams stood in the small room at the back of the church. Her hands shook as she looked at herself in the mirror. The white wedding dress fit her perfectly. The veil fell over her dark skin like a waterfall. She had waited for this day for so long. "You are the most beautiful bride I've ever seen," her mother said, wiping tears from her eyes. Janelle smiled, but her heart was racing. In just a few minutes, she would walk down the aisle to marry Michael Peterson, the man she had loved for 3 years. They had met at a friend's party, and from that day, they knew they were meant to be together. "Are you ready, baby girl?" her father asked, standing at the door in his best suit. "Yes, Daddy. I'm ready," Janelle said, taking a deep breath. Her father offered his arm, and Janelle took it. The music started to play. The doors opened, and Janelle saw the church filled with flowers and people. Family members and friends smiled at her. Some were crying happy tears. But as Janelle walked down the aisle, she noticed something strange. Michael wasn't standing at the altar. The spot where he should be was empty. Only the pastor and the best man were there. "Where is Michael?" she whispered to her father. Her father looked confused. "I don't know, sweetheart." As they reached the front of the church, the best man, Tom, came over to them. His face was pale, and his eyes were full of worry. "Janelle," Tom said quietly, "Michael is gone." "What do you mean, gone?" Janelle asked, her voice breaking. "He left about 20 minutes ago. He said he couldn't do this and ran out the back door. I tried to stop him, but he wouldn't listen." Janelle felt like someone had punched her in the stomach. The church went quiet. Everyone was looking at her. She could hear her mother crying in the front row. "Did he say why?" Janelle asked, still holding her father's arm tightly. Tom looked down at his shoes. "He left this note." Janelle took the small piece of paper with shaking hands. The words blurred as tears filled her eyes. "I'm sorry, Janelle. I love you, but I can't go through with this. My parents threatened to cut me off from the family and their money if I marry you. Please forgive me someday. Michael." The bouquet of white roses fell from Janelle's hands. She had known Michael's rich white family wasn't happy about their son marrying a black woman from the other side of town. But Michael had promised her it didn't matter. He had promised to love her forever. "I need to sit down," Janelle said, her legs feeling weak. Her father helped her to a chair. The pastor came over and put his hand on her shoulder. "I'm so sorry, my child," he said gently. Janelle's friends gathered around her, trying to comfort her, but nothing could stop the pain that was tearing through her heart. "How could he do this?" she whispered. "How could he leave me like this, in front of everyone?" Her mother knelt in front of her. "That boy never deserved you, Janelle. You are strong. You will get through this." But Janelle didn't feel strong. She felt broken and humiliated. The perfect day she had planned for months had turned into her worst nightmare. Later that evening, as she sat in her bedroom still wearing her wedding dress, her phone buzzed with a text from Michael. "I'm so sorry. I wasn't brave enough to stand up to my family. I hope someday you can forgive me." Janelle turned off her phone and threw it across the room. Tears streamed down her face as she looked at the wedding ring she never got to wear. In that moment, she made a promise to herself. She would never let anyone hurt her like this again. She would rebuild her life and become stronger than ever. What Janelle didn't know was that fate would bring Michael back into her life years later, when she least expected it. 5 years passed since the day Janelle was left at the altar. Life had changed a lot for her. After crying for weeks, she decided to leave town. There were too many sad memories there. Too many people who looked at her with pity in their eyes. Janelle moved to Chicago and found a job at a big marketing company. She worked harder than anyone else. When others went home, she stayed late. When others gave up on hard projects, she kept going. All that hard work paid off. Now, at 33 years old, she was a top marketing executive. "Ms. Williams, your 2 o'clock meeting is in 5 minutes, her assistant said, poking her head into Janelle's office. "Thank you, Lisa. I'll be right there," Janelle replied, looking down at her notes one more time. Today was an important day. Janelle's company was meeting with Peterson Media Group, a big client that could bring a lot of money to the firm. Janelle didn't know much about them, just that they were from New York and wanted to work on a new campaign. Janelle walked into the conference room, head held high, ready to impress the clients. But when she looked across the table, her heart stopped. Sitting there in an expensive suit was Michael Peterson, the same Michael who had left her at the altar 5 years ago. "Janelle," Michael said, his face turning white like he had seen a ghost. Janelle gripped the back of a chair to steady herself. She had not expected this. Not today. Not ever. But she would not let him see how shocked she was. "Mr. Peterson," she said in a cool, professional voice, "I didn't realize you would be joining us today." The other people in the room looked confused. It was clear they could feel the tension in the air. "You two know each other?" asked Mr. Johnson, Janelle's boss. "We have a history," Michael said, not taking his eyes off Janelle. "Well, let's get started, shall we?" Janelle said, sitting down and opening her folder. Through the whole meeting, Janelle could feel Michael watching her. She talked about marketing plans and budgets, showing charts and graphs. Her voice never shook. Her hands never trembled. But inside, her heart was racing. After the meeting, as everyone was leaving, Michael touched her arm. "Janelle, can we talk? Privately?" Janelle wanted to say no. She wanted to walk away like he had done to her. But she was a professional now, and this was business. 5 minutes, she said, leading him to her office. Once inside, Michael looked around at the awards on her walls, the view of Chicago from her window. "You've done really well for yourself," he said, sounding impressed. "I didn't have much choice but to succeed," Janelle replied. "Some of us don't have rich parents to fall back on." Michael winced at her words. "I deserve that," he said. "What I did to you was unforgivable. Yet here you are, asking for forgiveness," Janelle said. "No," Michael shook his head. "I know better than that. I wanted you to know that I've regretted what I did every single day for 5 years." Janelle looked at him closely. He had changed. There were lines around his eyes that hadn't been there before. He looked tired, like he carried a heavy weight. "What happened to you, Michael, after you ran away from our wedding?" Michael sat down in the chair across from her desk. "I did what my parents wanted. I married the girl they chose. Jennifer. She was from a rich family like ours. White. Proper. Everything they wanted. And did that make you happy?" Janelle asked, though she could guess the answer. "We divorced after 2 years," Michael said quietly. "It was a big mistake. My whole life has been a mistake since I left you." Janelle didn't know what to say. Part of her wanted to comfort him, but a bigger part remembered the pain he had caused her. "Your 5 minutes are up," she said, standing. "We have a contract to discuss tomorrow. I suggest we keep things professional from now on." As Michael walked to the door, he turned back. "You look beautiful, Janelle. Even more beautiful than the day I lost you." After he left, Janelle sat down at her desk. Her hands were shaking now. Seeing Michael again had brought back all the feelings she thought she had buried long ago. The next few weeks were hard for Janelle. She had to work with Michael every day on the big marketing project. Each time they met, memories of their past came flooding back. "These numbers look good," Michael said during one meeting, pointing to the chart Janelle had made. "Your team has done excellent work." "Thank you," Janelle replied, keeping her voice steady. "We pride ourselves on being thorough." After the meeting, Michael asked if she would join him for coffee. Janelle wanted to say no, but her boss was watching. This was an important client. She had to be professional. "Just coffee," she agreed. "Nothing more." They sat at a small cafe near Janelle's office. For a while, neither spoke. Janelle stirred her coffee, avoiding Michael's eyes. "I know you probably hate me," Michael finally said. "You have every right to." I don't hate you, Janelle replied. That would mean I still care. I've moved on. But had she really moved on? Seeing Michael again had brought back feelings she thought were long dead. What happened to your parents? Janelle asked. Are they still controlling your life? Michael looked down at his cup. My father died last year. Heart attack. My mother and I barely speak. I'm sorry about your father, Janelle said, and she meant it. Before he died, he told me he was wrong about you, Michael said quietly. He said his biggest regret was making me choose between you and the family. Janelle didn't know what to say to that. It was too little, too late. Why did you never try to find me? She asked. After your divorce. I did, Michael admitted. I went back to our hometown. Your parents wouldn't tell me where you were. They said I'd hurt you enough. Janelle nodded. That sounded like her parents. They had always been protective. They were right, she said. You did hurt me. More than anyone ever has. I know, Michael said, and I will regret that for the rest of my life. As they finished their coffee, Janelle found herself studying Michael's face. He had changed. The proud, rich boy who had once captured her heart was gone. In his place was a man who seemed sad and sorry. I should get back to work, Janelle said, standing up. Can I ask you something? Michael said. Have you found someone else? Someone who deserves you? Janelle hesitated. The truth was, she hadn't been able to trust anyone after Michael. She had gone on dates, but whenever things got serious, she pulled away. My personal life is none of your business, she finally said. The next day, flowers arrived at Janelle's office. Beautiful lilies, just like the one she had carried on her wedding day. The card simply said, I'm not asking for forgiveness. Just a chance to show you who I've become. Michael. Janelle almost threw the flowers away. But something stopped her. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was the need for closure. Or maybe, deep down, a small part of her heart still remembered the love they once shared. When her phone rang later that day, she wasn't surprised to see Michael's name. The flowers were inappropriate, she said when she answered. This is a business relationship. I know, Michael said. And I'm sorry. But I need to tell you something important. Can we have dinner tonight? Just once. Janelle knew she should say no. But the question that had been burning inside her for 5 years needed an answer. Fine, she said. One dinner. And then we go back to being just business partners. That evening, as Janelle got ready for dinner, she looked at herself in the mirror. She was no longer the young, trusting bride who had been left at the altar. She was stronger now. Whatever Michael had to say, she could handle it. What she didn't know was that the dinner would change everything between them again. Janelle arrived at the restaurant 10 minutes late on purpose. She didn't want to seem too eager. The place Michael had chosen was nice, but not too fancy. It had small tables with candles and soft music playing. Michael stood up when he saw her. He pulled out her chair. Thank you for coming, he said. His voice was nervous. I'm only here because I want answers, Janelle said, sitting down. She wore a simple black dress. No jewelry except small earrings. She had promised herself she wouldn't try to impress him. They ordered food, and for a while, they talked about safe topics like work and the weather. But Janelle was getting impatient. You said you had something important to tell me, she reminded him. What is it? Michael took a deep breath. After I left you at the altar, my life fell apart, he began. Yes, I married Jennifer like my parents wanted. Yes, I got my inheritance. But I hated myself every day. Poor you, Janelle said, her voice cold. How sad that your rich life was so hard. I deserve that. Michael nodded. But please, let me finish. He told her how his marriage had been empty from the start. How he drank too much. How he lost interest in the family business. How his father had been disappointed in him until the day he died. The night before my father died, Michael continued, he called me to his room. He was very weak. He told me he had been wrong about many things. Wrong about you. He said his own prejudice had ruined his son's chance at happiness. Janelle felt a lump in her throat. She took a sip of water. After the funeral, I went looking for you, Michael said. When I couldn't find you, I decided to make a big change. I stopped drinking. I started working hard again. I built my own company, separate from my family's money. Peterson Media Group, Janelle said. Understanding now. You built that yourself. Every bit of it, Michael nodded. I wanted to prove I could succeed on my own. That I wasn't just my father's son. Their food arrived, but neither was very hungry anymore. There's more, Michael said. When I found out your company might work with mine, I almost backed out. I was afraid of facing you. But then I thought, maybe this was my chance to tell you how sorry I am. Sorry doesn't change what happened, Janelle said. I know, Michael agreed. Nothing can change the past. But I wanted you to know the truth. The day I left you wasn't just about my parents' threats. It was about my own weakness. I was a coward, Janelle. I wasn't ready to stand up for what really mattered. Tears filled Janelle's eyes, but she blinked them away. She wouldn't cry for him. Not again. And what about now? She asked. What do you want from me now, Michael? Nothing, he said. I don't expect your forgiveness. I don't expect us to be friends. I just needed you to know that what I did had nothing to do with you. It was all my failing. You were always too good for me. Janelle studied his face. She could see the pain there, the regret. For 5 years, she had pictured this moment. She had imagined all the angry things she would say. But now, face to face with him, the anger felt heavy and old. I've carried so much hate for you, she said quietly. It's been like a rock in my heart all these years. I'm sorry, Michael said again. If I could go back. But you can't, Janelle cut him off. Neither of us can. We can only go forward. As they finished their meal, something shifted between them. The past was still there, but it didn't seem quite as painful. Thank you for dinner, Janelle said as they walked out. Can I see you again? Michael asked. Not for work, just to talk. Janelle hesitated. The wise thing would be to say no, to keep her distance. But a small voice inside her wanted to know more about the man Michael had become. I'll think about it, she said, getting into her taxi. As the car pulled away, Janelle wondered if she was making a terrible mistake, or if maybe this was the beginning of something new. A week passed after their dinner. Janelle tried to focus on work, but her mind kept going back to Michael's words. She checked her phone often, though she told herself she wasn't waiting for his call. On Friday afternoon, Lisa knocked on her office door. There's someone here to see you, her assistant said with a small smile. He doesn't have an appointment, but he says it's important. Janelle knew who it was before Lisa finished speaking. Send him in, she said, fixing her hair quickly. Michael walked in carrying a large folder. He looked good in his blue suit, but his face was serious. I'm sorry to come without calling first, he said, but I wanted to show you something. What is it? Janelle asked, curious despite herself. Michael opened the folder and pulled out some papers. Our company's finished the marketing project yesterday, but I have another offer for you, a personal one. He placed the papers on her desk. They were plans for a new community center in Janelle's old neighborhood. I don't understand, Janelle said, looking at the drawings. After I left you, your community lost the wedding hall deposit. The church never got its final payment. Your parents spent a lot of money on a wedding that never happened, Michael explained. I want to make it right. By building a community center, Janelle was confused. Your mother once told me how the kids in your neighborhood had nowhere safe to go after school. How she wished there was a place with computers and books, a place to learn and grow. Janelle remembered those conversations. She was surprised Michael did too. I've bought the land, Michael continued. I have the money to build it. But I need someone to run the project, someone who knows what the community really needs. And you want that someone to be me? Janelle asked. Michael nodded. It would be your project, your vision. I'm just providing the funds. Janelle looked at the plans again. The center would have classrooms, a library, a computer lab, and a garden. It could help so many children. Why are you doing this? She asked. Is it just to ease your guilt? Partly, Michael admitted, but also because it's the right thing to do, and because I still care about what matters to you. Janelle felt torn. The project was exactly what her old neighborhood needed, but working with Michael outside of business would mean spending more time with him. It would mean letting him back into her life. I need time to think about it, she said. Take all the time you need, Michael replied. The offer won't expire. As he turned to leave, Janelle called out, Wait, are you free tomorrow? We could discuss the project over lunch. Michael's face lit up. I'd like that. How about 1 o'clock at the cafe near your office? 1 o'clock, Janelle agreed. After he left, Janelle called her mother. She hadn't told her parents about seeing Michael again. She wasn't sure how they would react. Mom, she said when her mother answered, I need to tell you something important. She explained everything. Meeting Michael again, their dinner, and now his offer to build a community center. What should I do? Janelle asked. Her mother was quiet for a moment. Do you still have feelings for him? She finally asked. I don't know, Janelle answered honestly. Sometimes I look at him and see the man who broke my heart. Other times, I see someone new, someone who's trying to be better. People can change, baby, her mother said. Your father and I will support whatever you decide. Just be careful with your heart. That night, Janelle couldn't sleep. She got up and looked out her window at the Chicago skyline. 5 years ago, she had moved here to escape her pain. She had built a new life, a good life. Was she ready to risk that by letting Michael back in? The next morning, Janelle woke up with a clear mind. She knew what she wanted to do about the community center. And about Michael. She dressed carefully for their lunch meeting. Not too fancy, but nice. She wanted to look confident, because this time, she would be the one setting the terms of their relationship. Janelle arrived at the cafe first. She picked a table by the window where they could talk without being disturbed. When Michael walked in 5 minutes later, she was ready. Thank you for meeting me, Michael said as he sat down. He looked nervous, which made Janelle feel more confident. I've been thinking about your offer, she said after they ordered coffee. I have some conditions. Michael nodded. I'm listening. First, if we do this project, it will be a true partnership. My name will be on it alongside yours. I'll make the key decisions about what the community needs. Agreed, Michael said without hesitation. Second, this is not about us. It's about helping the neighborhood. Our personal history stays separate from the project. Of course, Michael agreed again. And third, Janelle continued, I want to bring my parents into the planning. They still live there. They know what the community needs better than either of us. Michael looked surprised at this last request. Your parents? Are you sure they'll want to work with me? No, Janelle said honestly. They might hate the idea. But this is my condition. Take it or leave it. Michael was quiet for a moment. Then he smiled. You've changed, Janelle. You always knew what you wanted, but now you're not afraid to demand it. Being left at the altar in front of everyone you know will do that to a person, Janelle said. Her words weren't angry, just truthful. I accept all your conditions, Michael said. When do you want to tell your parents? This weekend. I'm flying home to visit them. You should come with me. Michael's eyes widened. Are you sure that's a good idea? No, Janelle admitted, but it's necessary. If we're going to do this project, we need to deal with the past first. That Saturday, Janelle and Michael drove from the airport to her parents' house. Michael hadn't said much during the flight. He looked scared. My dad won't punch you, Janelle said as they pulled up to the small but neat house where she grew up. Probably. That's not very comforting, Michael replied. Janelle's mother opened the door before they could knock. Her eyes narrowed when she saw Michael. "So it's true," she said. "You really brought him here." "Hello, Mrs. Williams," Michael said. "It's good to see you again." "Is it?" she asked coldly. "Last time I saw you, you had just broken my daughter's heart." "Mom," Janelle said gently, "we talked about this. Please give him a chance to explain his idea." Mrs. Williams stepped aside to let them in. "Your father is in the living room," she said. "He's been very quiet since you called." Mr. Williams stood up when they entered. He was a tall man with kind eyes, but today those eyes were hard as he looked at Michael. "Sir," Michael said, stepping forward with his hand outstretched. "I know you must hate me." "Hate is too strong a word," Mr. Williams interrupted. "Disappointed, yes. Angry, for years. But hate takes too much energy." He didn't shake Michael's hand. Instead, he pointed to the couch. "Sit, tell us why you're here." For the next hour, Michael explained his plan for the community center. He showed them the drawings and the budget. He told them how Janelle would be in charge, with her name equal to his on all documents. As he talked, the tension in the room slowly eased. By the time he finished, even Janelle's father seemed interested. "It's a good plan," Mr. Williams admitted, "but why should we trust you to follow through? You've broken promises before." "Dad," Janelle said. "No, he's right," Michael said. "Words are just words. That's why I've already bought the land. The money is already in a special account that can only be used for this project. Even if I wanted to back out, I couldn't." Mrs. Williams looked at her daughter. "And you're okay working with him? After everything?" Janelle took a deep breath. "I'm not doing this for him. I'm doing it for the community. For the kids who need a safe place to learn and grow." Her father nodded slowly. "Then we're with you, baby girl. But we'll be watching him very carefully." As they left her parents' house that evening, Janelle felt something change between her and Michael. They weren't just ex-lovers or business partners anymore. They were becoming something new. What exactly? She wasn't sure yet. 3 months passed quickly. Janelle split her time between her marketing job in Chicago and the community center project in her hometown. Michael came down every weekend to help. Slowly, the empty land started to change. First came the foundation, then the walls, and finally the roof. On a warm Saturday, Janelle stood looking at the half-finished building. Workers moved around carrying tools and materials. Her father was talking to the builder, pointing at the plans. "It's really happening," Michael said, coming to stand beside her. He handed her a cup of coffee. "Yes, it is," Janelle said. "The children will have their center by Christmas." Michael smiled. "Your mother called me yesterday. She wants to run the library section when it opens." Janelle looked surprised. "She called you directly, not through me." "Progress, right?" Michael said. Over the past months, things had changed between them. They worked well together. Michael listened to Janelle's ideas. He never tried to take control. When the local newspaper came to write a story about the center, he made sure they spoke to Janelle first. "Have you thought about my other offer?" Michael asked as they walked around the building site. Last week, he had asked if she would consider moving back to work on the center full-time. His company would pay her salary. It was a good offer, but it would mean leaving her job in Chicago. It would also mean seeing Michael every day. "I'm still thinking," Janelle said. "It's a big decision." Later that day, Janelle's mother invited them both for dinner. As they sat around the table, Janelle noticed how different things were from that first tense visit. Her father asked Michael about the special computers they were buying for the center. Her mother served Michael an extra piece of pie. "More coffee, Michael?" her mother asked. "Yes, please, Mrs. Williams," Michael replied. "I think after 3 months of working together, you can call me Diana," her mother said with a small smile. After dinner, Janelle's father asked to speak with Michael alone. They went out to the back porch while Janelle helped her mother clean up. "What do you think they're talking about?" Janelle asked, peeking through the window at the two men. "Man things," her mother said. "But probably you." "Me." "That boy is still in love with you," her mother said matter-of-factly. "Anyone with eyes can see it." Janelle nearly dropped the plate she was drying. "That's not what this is about, Mom. We're just working together on the center." Her mother raised an eyebrow. "Is that why you fly back here every weekend? Is that why you light up when he walks into the room?" "I don't light up," Janelle protested. "You do," her mother insisted. "And it scares me. I don't want to see you hurt again." Janelle put down the dish towel. "I'm not the same girl he left at the altar. I'm stronger now. And Michael has changed too." "People can change," her mother agreed. "But can you ever really trust him again?" That was the question Janelle asked herself every day. Michael had been nothing but kind, respectful, and honest since they reconnected. He had put his money and time into the community center without asking for anything in return. But the memory of that terrible wedding day still haunted her. When Michael and her father came back inside, both men looked serious. "Everything okay?" Janelle asked. "Just fine," her father said, but he wouldn't meet her eyes. On the drive back to their hotel, Michael was quiet. Janelle wondered what her father had said to him. "My dad didn't threaten you, did he?" she asked. Michael laughed. "No, he just asked about my intentions." "Your intentions?" Janelle repeated. "What did you tell him?" Michael pulled the car over and turned to face her. "I told him the truth, that I'm still in love with you, that I never stopped loving you, but that I know I have no right to expect anything from you after what I did." Janelle's heart raced. She had suspected Michael's feelings, but hearing him say the words out loud made them real. "And what did my father say?" she asked softly. "He said that if I ever hurt you again, they wouldn't find my body," Michael said with a small smile. "Then he said he's watching me, but he sees how hard I'm trying." Janelle didn't know what to say. Part of her wanted to run from these feelings. Another part wanted to embrace them. Janelle stared at Michael in the car, her heart beating fast. His words hung in the air between them. He still loved her, after all this time. "You can't just say something like that," she finally said. "It's not fair." "I know," Michael replied. "But your father asked for the truth, and I'm tired of hiding how I feel." Janelle opened the car door. "I need to walk. I need to think." It was a warm night. Stars filled the sky above the small town. Janelle walked along the quiet streets, and Michael followed at a distance, giving her space. They ended up at the community center construction site. In the moonlight, the half-built walls cast long shadows. Janelle sat on a stack of lumber. "When you left me at the altar," she said when Michael sat beside her, "I thought I would never trust anyone again. I thought I would never stop hurting." "I'm so sorry," Michael whispered. "Let me finish," Janelle said. "For 5 years, I built walls around my heart. I focused on my career. I told myself I was happy. And I was in many ways. But I was also afraid to let anyone get close." She looked at the building taking shape before them. "Then you came back into my life. At first, I just wanted to show you how well I was doing without you. I wanted you to regret what you had done." "I already regretted it every day," Michael said. "I know that now," Janelle admitted. "I've watched you these past 3 months. I've seen how you've changed, how hard you're working to make things right, not just with me, but with my family and the whole community." Michael moved closer to her. "What are you saying, Janelle?" "I'm saying that I'm scared," she said honestly. "I'm scared because I still have feelings for you too. But I'm also scared of being hurt again." Michael took her hand gently. "I can't promise we'll never hurt each other. No one can promise that. But I can promise I will never abandon you again. I will never let anyone, not my family, not anyone, come between us. If you give me another chance, I'll spend the rest of my life proving that to you." Janelle looked at their joined hands. 5 years ago, she had thought they would spend their lives together. Then it all fell apart in one terrible day. Could she really risk her heart again? I need more time, she said. This is all happening so fast. Michael nodded. Take all the time you need. I'm not going anywhere. The next morning, Janelle called her boss in Chicago. She told him she was taking a week off to think about a big decision. Then she drove to the small lake outside town, where she used to go as a child when she needed to clear her head. She sat on the dock, watching the water. She thought about Michael, about the pain of the past, and the possibility of a future together. She thought about the community center and how much it already meant to her. On her third day at the lake, her mother came to visit. Michael told me where to find you, Diana said, sitting beside her daughter. He's worried about you. I'm fine, Janelle said. I just needed space to think. And what have you been thinking about? Her mother asked. About forgiveness, Janelle said. About second chances. About whether love can be stronger the second time around. Diana put her arm around her daughter. You know, your father and I almost broke up once, before we got married. What? You never told me that, Janelle said, surprised. He got scared about the responsibility of marriage. He disappeared for 2 weeks. I was heartbroken. What happened? He came back, Diana said simply. He apologized. He promised to never run away again. And he never did. So you forgave him? Janelle asked. I did more than forgive him. I chose to trust him again, her mother said. That was the hard part. Forgiveness is a gift you give someone else. Trust is a gift you give yourself. Janelle thought about her mother's words for a long time after she left. Could she trust Michael again? Did she want to? That night, she made her decision. She packed her bags and drove back to town. It was time to talk to Michael and tell him what she had decided about her future. Their future. Janelle drove back to town as the sun was setting. The streets were quiet as she parked outside Michael's hotel. Her hand shook a little as she texted him. I'm outside. Can we talk? 5 minutes later, Michael rushed out. He looked worried when he saw her serious face. I was getting concerned, he said. You've been gone for days. I needed time to think, Janelle replied. Let's walk. They walked in silence to the park nearby. Children played on the swings while parents watched from benches. Janelle led Michael to a quiet spot under a big oak tree. I've made 2 decisions, she said. First, I'm going to accept your job offer. I want to run the community center full-time. Michael's face lit up. That's wonderful. The children will benefit so much from your leadership. Second, Janelle continued, her voice steadier now. I've decided about us. Michael went very still. He looked afraid to hear what she would say next. 5 years ago, you broke my heart, Janelle said. For a long time, I thought it was the worst thing that ever happened to me. But now I see it differently. How? Michael asked softly. If we had gotten married back then, it wouldn't have worked, Janelle explained. You weren't strong enough to stand up to your family. I wasn't strong enough to face that kind of rejection. We both needed to grow. She took a deep breath. These past few months, I've seen who you really are. Not the boy who ran away, but the man who came back. The man who admits his mistakes and works to make things right. And I've seen who you've become, Michael said. You're incredible, Janelle. So strong and sure of yourself. Janelle smiled. That's why I think we deserve a second chance. A fresh start. Michael's eyes filled with tears. Are you saying what I think you're saying? I'm saying I'm willing to try again. Janelle nodded. Slowly. No rushing. We need to get to know each other as the people we are now, not the people we were then. Michael reached for her hand, then stopped himself, unsure. Janelle closed the gap and took his hand in hers. I promise you won't regret this, he said. I will spend every day making sure you know how much I love you. I'm not looking for big promises, Janelle said. I just want honesty. Always, even when it's hard. Always, Michael agreed. 3 months later, the community center was finished. The grand opening was a big event. The mayor cut the ribbon. Children ran through the new hallways, excited to see the computers, books, and play areas. Janelle's parents stood proudly next to their daughter as she gave a speech. "This center belongs to all of us," Janelle said to the crowd. "It shows what we can build when we work together, when we believe in second chances." Her eyes found Michael's in the crowd. He smiled at her, his love clear on his face. Later, after most people had gone home, Janelle and Michael walked through the quiet building. "Remember when we stood here and it was just a frame?" Michael asked. "Now look at it. It's amazing what you can build if you don't give up," Janelle said. They stopped in the garden area behind the center. Solar lights twinkled in the trees. Michael took Janelle's hand and turned to face her. "This feels like the right place," he said, his voice nervous. "The right moment." To Janelle's surprise, he dropped to one knee. He pulled a small box from his pocket. "This isn't the same ring as before," he said quickly. "This one represents who we are now, not who we were then." He opened the box to show a simple but beautiful diamond ring. "Janelle Williams, I have loved you for years, even when I didn't deserve your love in return. I promise to spend the rest of my life being worthy of you. Will you marry me?" Again. Janelle looked down at Michael, at the man who had once broken her heart, but had worked so hard to heal it. She thought about their journey, the pain, the forgiveness, the growth, and the love that had somehow survived it all. "Yes," she said, her voice strong and sure. "This time, I know we're both ready." As Michael slipped the ring on her finger, Janelle knew this was not the end of their story. It was just the beginning of a new chapter, one they would write together, stronger and wiser than before.